Bayern earn a massive 3 points as they beat Borussia Dortmund on the road. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Talking Bayern, the one-stop shop for Bayern Munich content on YouTube. Today we'll be doing a match reaction of their Klassiker Edition 1 of the 2021-2022 season. And of course, Bayern comes out on top with kind of a controversial ending here. I know VAR was in play. Some don't like VAR. I'm currently mixed feelings on it, but I think at the end of the day, this was a pretty fair outcome, but let's get right into it. So starting laps for Bayern, as I predicted, Manuel Neuer in net. At the back, Alphonso Davies, Lucas Hernandez, Upamecano, and Pavard. Interesting that we didn't go with Nicolas Süle. I know he was implemented later on, but still, I was kind of surprised Süle didn't get the start, even though I did predict Pavard, of course. In the midfield, we have Tolisso and Goretzka. Of course, Goretzka was 60% chance of playing this game. Of course, he did make it through the game. In the attacking midfield, we had Coman, Thomas Muller, and Leroy Sané, and up top, Robert Lewandowski. As for our opponents, Borussia Dortmund, they had Kobel in net. At the back, Guerrero, Hummels, Akanji, and Meunier. In the midfield, Can, De Hood, and Bellingham. In the attack, they had Brandt and Royce with Erling Haaland at striker. So just some quick stats from this game. We outshot them 17-12 and also outshooting them 6-4 attempts on target. It was a very close game, however, 53% possession for Bayern. We only had 8% pass accuracy and they had 77, so pretty bad passing percentage from both teams. But you can just kind of tell that was going to happen just from so many stretch plays. I know Dortmund loved throwing that through ball, and of course, making passes like that's not always going to go through, so it kind of makes sense why they had lower pass accuracy, but kind of was hoping a bit more for Bayern in this one. And as for fouls, both teams had 10 apiece. So just some observations from this game. It was, somewhat difficult to tactically analyze this game, obviously. A lot of emotions and feelings in this game. A pretty chaotic game, especially the first half. There was just a lot of constant action to take in, but I did my best to analyze this game and take solid notes. So the game certainly did not disappoint for the neutral spectator. Obviously, a 3-2 win was a very good outcome, I think, and probably exciting for a neutral fan. Probably exciting for both teams, honestly. It's back and forth, both teams scoring and trading goals, so it was pretty close the whole way through. So pretty early on, Erling Haaland had almost a breakaway really early, but Neuer swept that up. And then Brandt with a great move and absolutely broke Davies. Obviously, Davies missed that tackle, and unfortunately, Bayern didn't have time to get in a second tackle, and Brandt placed it excellently. So great play by Brandt, fair play, and obviously Dortmund with the early lead. And then Meunier, just minutes later, elbowed Lewandowski in the back of the head, and the Dortmund fans showed absolutely no sympathy. He was booed and whistled by almost the whole stadium, so clearly no love for Lewandowski at Dortmund. And then just minutes later, a great takeaway by Muller, who stole the ball from Hummels, so pretty bad mistake from Mats Hummels, the former Bayern defender. And then Muller managed to head it over to Lewandowski barely, but obviously Lewandowski got the ball and beautifully placed it in the bottom right to tie the game. And, in the first 10 minutes, it was a 1-1 game, obviously. I expected a shootout, and that's just what we got early. It was obviously a very exciting start of the match. And later on, we had a good play with a give and go between Pavard and Lewandowski, and then they gave it to Sané, who had a great chance, but his shot just curled a bit left the net. It was kind of like a knuckle. Looks like it was curling in, then just kind of came back out, so didn't go in. But then Haaland, another chance, so he hit his hand, thankfully, kind of up here, and the ref blew it down. But, definitely some dangerous chances for Haaland, especially early, some through balls. Even Dortmund had some pretty close chances where I felt like Haaland should have been played on and they didn't really pass to him. You could kind of see he was frustrated there for a bit in the first half. But Dortmund, I thought, had really solid pressure early on, and I was afraid of Bayern making mistakes. Thankfully, we did keep the mistakes to a minimum. And Dortmund with a brutal turnover in their own box, but luckily for them, Coman's shot was blocked, but another dangerous chance for Coman early. And then Sané had a great pass to Coman, and Coman had a great shot that was saved. Nothing came from that opportunity. I thought maybe we'd get a rebound, but obviously Kobel did a good job with it, considering the play. And then approaching the 30th minute, Bayern had a great play, and then going the other way, Haaland just missed the net. He kind of shot it along the side and just missed the right post. I really thought that was going to be a goal. I kind of just thought he made too many touches to the left. He should have tried to bring it a bit more to center before he took that shot, because obviously Neuer had a good angle on it, and it kind of forced him to shoot wide. So that was a very good execution, obviously trying to make up for that mistake and giving Haaland that extra space. And then Tolisso brutally spoiled a great opportunity. I know probably not many people thought much of it just because it wasn't really in the offensive zone, but he butchered a pass to Davies. It could have been a great offensive push. Davies on the attack is always going to be dangerous. And Tolisso just passed it right, like no one even really on him, passed it right out of the sidelines. So disappointing to see Tolisso. Didn't have a great performance in my mind. Also, Upamecano looked shaky at times in the first half. I know he's been working on getting more consistent. He's definitely had some bad games this season. Definitely had some rock-solid games. I don't think this is a rock-solid game by him in any means. And then Coman finally scored when he banged one in after a clutter in front of the net, and it was almost saved on the goal line by Guerrero. Of course, it did not. And then we had a 2-1 lead for Bayern. However, in the second half, Dortmund didn't wait long, and Haaland had a beautiful right-footed strike that beat Neuer to the right. Really not sure why we gave Haaland that much space, but of course, It costed us, and obviously a great goal by Haaland, and we had a 2-2 game at this point. And then Sané had a perfect chance for Lewandowski for a through ball easily, and for whatever reason he didn't pass to him. I thought it was a massive wasted opportunity, to be honest. Maybe just Sané's trying to do too much with it. Lewandowski, I've been saying recently, he's looking more fast than he usually does. Obviously, he's never been a pacey player, but he's definitely never been a slow player. But obviously, I think over the years he's getting faster and faster. He's definitely keeping up with some fast players, and I thought definitely if you make that pass, Lewandowski up top with not many defenders on him is going to be an excellent scoring chance. So definitely disappointing with Sané there. And then we almost gave up a pen, probably a bit controversial in the 53rd minute when Lucas Hernandez pushed over Royce and kind of touched him in the back of the leg. But it definitely could have been a pen. I probably wouldn't have argued much with it if they did give a pen. If you're a Dortmund fan, you might be furious that wasn't a pen. They didn't really show too many highlights on it and kind of just quickly glossed over it. So I would have liked to see more angles of it. But still, definitely could have been a pen, and that could have definitely caused problems for Bayern. And then later on, Koeman was creating all kinds of chances. I thought he played very well. He definitely could have scored more, but I think he was playing well. Maybe he had a bit of decision making that wasn't quite there, but I thought he had a pretty good game overall. I like seeing Musiala come in for Goretzka and giving himself more opportunity to prove himself in a slightly different role than usual. And then, of course, we got the VAR check for Hummels' handball in the 75th minute. That would really change the game. And personally, just a side note, I'm not really a fan of handball penalties. I'm also, watching the Prem. I remember 2 years ago when Ruben Neves put up his hand to kind of block somebody from kicking him in the face from going for a bike, and he blocked with his hand, and that cost him, I'm pretty sure, a Champions League or Europa League spot that season. And, he was just clearly blocking someone from kicking him in the face, and he got called for a pen. So, this wasn't the situation here, but I don't know. I'm just not really a huge fan of penalties. If you're going to reach out like this, I can kind of see why it should be a pen, but I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the handball rule, but that's a whole different argument there. The call was a penalty, and Lewandowski, of course, made no mistake and added a third to Bayern's tally. Koeman was so close to getting that one, but just didn't get enough power on the stop. And at this point, obviously, Dortmund was outraged with the officiating. You could tell the fans and coaching were not happy at all, and Marco Rose was just sent off minutes later. And then late there, Koeman with another dangerous move, and the cross was a bit off, but he definitely, still creating chances and got a corner from it. And then the dying minutes there, Dortmund almost tied late in the game with an outstanding cross by Royce. But Jude's header just had too much power and went over the bar. And then, just Jude minutes later, a well-deserved yellow card by knocking over Neuer. I thought that was a pretty disrespectful move. I was not a fan of that move by Jude at all. And with 10 minutes at a time, Dortmund had plenty of time to score, and they definitely had some really solid opportunities. Easily could have tied the game, but they didn't. And then Tolisso missed the empty net. Really should have done better with it. Maybe he could have crossed earlier or just kind of chipped it ahead, or given like a low through ball. Maybe Davies could have done better if he could have got that. Pass. Obviously, he has the speed, way more speed than Tolisso, so maybe that would have been the best option, but either way, I felt like we really should have scored that goal on the empty net. But it wouldn't matter. We, of course, came away with the win. And my player of the match for Bayern, this might be a slightly controversial one, but it's going to be Kingsley Coman. I thought he played great all game long and caused Dortmund all kinds of problems. He definitely could have scored more, I'll come out and say it, but I still think he was a standout player in this. And I frequently find that Coman is a little bit underappreciated on this team. Obviously, with Gnabry and Sané and Lewandowski, you're probably not going to get the love you deserve. Obviously, I'm still hard on Coman at times, but still, I thought he had a good game. Obviously, the decision-making at times was a little bit off, but honestly, I thought he had a good game. As for our opponent, I think it has to be Erling Haaland. I thought Haaland had a great game. I know he only scored one, but it was a beauty. But I really thought he was held back due to his poor service and just not great timing of passes by his teammates. I really felt like Marco Reus had the coaching a bit off. I felt like they were trying to force the through balls too much. It just clearly wasn't working. The timing and just the passes themselves weren't great. Obviously, he has the speed to get there and beat our Bayern defenders, but I don't know. I just felt like the coach drew up poorly in this game. I feel like Dortmund could have won. Obviously, a bit more clinical in the chances they had. Obviously, Bayern had more chances, but in a different outcome here, Dortmund could win this game easily. And lastly, a dishonorable mention for Mats Hummels, who was basically at fault for all three of Bayern's goals. I thought he had a horrible game. Obviously, he caused the pen. He was completely at fault for the Muller goal, and honestly, he just had a really bad game. Obviously, he cost Dortmund the win. Without Hummels' mistakes, Dortmund is coming away with that win, in my opinion. Obviously, he was basically at fault for all three goals. So, very dishonorable mention for Mats Hummels in this game. Next game, we play Barcelona on Wednesday with the opportunity to potentially send them down to the Europa League if we beat them at home, which obviously would be very nice and rewarding. I love beating Barcelona, especially after that 8-2 win. Felt especially great. And sending them down into the Europa League, I think, would be just a very rewarding, experience. Obviously, with a team like Barcelona that's so prestigious, I think it would just be kind of funny. Kind of take a laugh at them one more time and kind of send them down to the Europa League. Obviously, we would need Benfica to beat Kiev, but all we'd have to do is just beat Barcelona at home, which I'm sure we are more than equipped to do. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment. And if you want to see more Bayern Munich content like this in the future, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, mia sa mia.